If you listen to videos about how to attract avoidance long enough, you begin to realize those coaches aren't teaching you how to get an avoidant ex back. They're training you to become the perfect employee. This is because avoidants prefer people who are available, manageable, and predictable. So if you do always feel like the avoidant in your life is your boss, there's a pretty good reason for that. Take a listen and see if you fit into these 3 categories when it comes to the avoidant person in your life. Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, it felt like all of my avoidant partners, and even my avoidant exes, were the boss of me. They called the shots, made the rules, and controlled the schedule. This went on and on until the day I sat down, painted my nails, and decided to do everything differently. And if you're like me and you're tired of working overtime without receiving any of the benefits, then grab a bottle of nail polish and let's talk. Now, availability, that's always first on the list, right? If you have experience with an avoidant partner or an avoidant ex, you know that relationship can be a lot of work. You show up day after day. You make yourself available even when it feels like your boundaries aren't being respected. You go over and above, but you aren't getting nearly what you deserve. And breaks? You never get a break, and who cares? You're way too stressed out to eat anyway. It does sound like a crazy job, huh? Well, this is just life with an avoidant. Avoidants always claim to be super busy, but boy, they sure do love it when you are always available to them when they need you. It helps them feel safe knowing that you are waiting for them to pencil you into their schedules. True avoidants only ever use pencils because they might not actually feel like getting together when the time comes. Oh, but sorry if you canceled your plans to show up today. Oh well, just another day with the machine. Yeah, well, aren't you tired of putting in so many hours of energy just to be bailed on? And at some point, you must be honest with yourself that you are putting in too much work and you're not getting back what you deserve. All of your focus and energy and bandwidth is going towards being available to this person, and it quickly becomes clear that just like with a demanding boss at a toxic job, an avoidant who expects you to always be there can end up costing you your social life. All right, next on the list. Maybe your avoidant feels like your boss because you are very manageable. Avoidants need someone they can train, someone they can have control over, someone who will always follow their rules. And how do they get people like this? With leverage. They have something that you want. You might not be getting a whole lot, but there is a payout. And the reason that they can gain so much leverage over people is because they find people who are in a place in their life where maybe they feel like they desperately need attention and validation. So any kind of love bombing that happens with avoidance in the beginning before they start pulling away, it feels like the answer to their prayers. And I'm not saying that this is every situation, and it might not be your situation at all. But I feel like this can happen when we don't have enough relationships in our life that we are super present with, and we don't have enough relationships that are simply bringing us joy. So in any kind of relationship, one person begins to show us the attention that we feel like we need, and we have a very hard time letting go, even if the attention becomes like a negative reinforcement. Just like clockwork, you won't even realize it, but you become very predictable. Let me give you an example of how avoidance trained me to become predictable, and see if maybe this is something going on in your life too. If I reached out to an avoidant ex and they were chilly to me that day, I would drop it and I would wait a few days or a week, and then I would reach out again. Because maybe on that day, my avoidant was in a better mood and very interactive and acted happy to hear from me. We put so much emotional work into these relationships. And that's why when they give you breadcrumbs of attention, it feels like a huge payout, but it's more like a crappy pizza party when you deserve so much more. But as long as this dynamic continues, it's the perfect union. They train you to give them as much space as they want. But they're also training you to be very predictable. They know that after maybe like 10 or 14 days, you'll reach out to them again. Like, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything you need from me today? How could they not feel like your boss when this is the dynamic that's going on in the relationship? And you know, it's kind of funny, not funny. Whenever I read comments in YouTube videos that talk about avoidant attachment, there's always people that have had experience with avoidance down in the comments, and they call avoidants psychopaths, or they say that they don't have souls. Now, I am not saying that I agree with that. But have you ever noticed that whenever you work for a soulless corporation, things like birthdays and holidays aren't things that really seem to matter? Hey, welcome to the working world, right? Wrong. Welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also need to take care of the inner half. Because autonomy and independent thinking and boundaries are important and attractive in all kinds of relationships. These kind of things only threaten people who know they are not giving you what you deserve, and it threatens them because they like that you are available, and if you walk away, you just might find out there's better offers, and then you will leave for good. But as long as they're able to take up all of your focus and all of your time, and they have all of the leverage, you won't even have the bandwidth to try to go out and look for something different. It's like they don't want to treat you like a human being, but they don't want anyone else to have you either. And the amount of cases where avoidants pop up, intermittently breadcrumbing their exes, is staggering. And that's because they expect you to be predictable. Avoidant expat coaches tell you, never ignore your avoidant who is texting you. Don't ever say what you actually want, but don't ignore them either. Be the emotional rock they need right now, even after the breakup. Coaches call this safety for your avoidant. I call it highly convenient for your avoidant at your expense. I have stated in other videos that I've had exes slide into my DMs even after a decade. And that's because after you leave, they were never able to find anything better. Whoops. Maybe they shouldn't have emotionally overworked you and burnt you out to the point where you finally summoned the strength to walk out the door and slam it behind you. You're never going back. And doesn't that disrupt all of your predictability? That's okay. Be a disruptor. If someone is treating you poorly, or if someone has already discarded you, you're not being disloyal by seeking something else. If you aren't getting back what you're putting in, you don't have to stay. It's okay to walk out. There are better offers out there. You are not your avoidance employee, but I am sure, just like every idiot boss, they won't ever appreciate all the work you've put in until you're gone. And in true avoidant fashion, that revelation will be completely unexpected. And if you would like to know why the avoidant in your life feels like the final boss, I'll put that video right here. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting the other half.